Words that seem to be echoed by the king's granddaughter in a legal battle to try to keep Graceland, which was really on the verge of being sold at a foreclosure auction before an 11th hour reprieve. The judge presiding over the case said Graceland will stay in the hands of Elvis's family for the time being, after finding that the company trying to have the mansion sold may have committed fraud. They could not prove that Lisa Marie Presley's signature was on an alleged loan she supposedly took out with Graceland as collateral, and that it was ever notarized.
Has sworn that the notary did not notarize the signature of Lisa Marie Presley on the deed of trust, which brings into question as to the authenticity of the signature. Indeed, the deed of trust as being a fraud.
34-year-old Riley Keough, granddaughter of the king and current owner of Graceland, won the courtroom battle with the auction to try to sell Graceland to the highest bidder. It was slated for tomorrow, literally. That's now off. The claim at the late Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis's daughter, supposedly borrowed $3.8 million using Graceland as collateral before defaulting on the loan. But tonight, we learned that the alleged lender is reportedly dropping the effort to have the home sold in order to collect that debt. Keough claimed in a lawsuit that her mother, who died last year, never took out that loan, that the documents claiming she did are fraudulent. Elvis bought the estate in 1957 for just over $100,000. After his death in '77, it went to his then 9-year-old daughter, Lisa Marie, who would eventually turn it into a public museum in '82. Lisa Marie died last year, and her daughter Riley became the heir. 600,000 people visit Graceland every year. It's the second most visited home in America after the White House. As we discussed, what kind of guest to join us tonight? We thought we need a lawyer, but we also need someone who can appreciate the significance of Graceland. Joining us now is Curtis Hill. He's the former Attorney General of Indiana and also a part-time Elvis impersonator whose videos we will be showing during this segment. Thanks very much for coming on. Appreciate it. All right, so first let me put on your legal hat. What happened here?
Well, Dan, from what I've seen, and I'm a former prosecutor, the reports clearly indicate to me a scam of sorts. We're led to believe that an organization in Missouri took a $3.8 million loan to Lisa Marie Presley, and then now we're to believe that they would just walk away from it and say, forget about it. This thing stinks to high heaven, and I'm hopeful that there will be an open investigation in the state of Missouri to determine exactly what occurred. It doesn't even appear that this so-called lending institution had a bricks and mortar operation. I think they took advantage of Lisa Marie Presley's health and some of the misunderstandings of what was going on in the aftermath of her death to try to get one over on everyone, thinking that we'll make a quick score here. Everybody will be confused. We'll get a payoff. They even went so far as to suggest that they would go away for a lesser payment in 45 days. That sounds to me like extortion.
So your belief, your opinion, based on everything that you've seen so far, is that this lender just made up this loan to Lisa Marie Presley?
Based on the reports that I'm seeing, and I don't have the direct information, but based on the reports that are out, it does not appear that there is sufficient evidence to prove that there was actually a loan that was provided to Lisa Marie Presley, that her signature was on the document, and the actions of the so-called lender in the aftermath would suggest that there's no legitimacy behind it.
All right, now I was asking our team to put up the, there you are, okay. I kept saying, where's the video of Curtis Hill? I mean, the fact that we were able to find a former state attorney general, right? A top prosecutor who knows the criminal law as well as anyone, who also happens to be an Elvis impersonator to talk about this is amazing. What got you started in doing this for fun?
Well, I was an Elvis fan as a kid growing up, and one day I was at a party at high school. It was kind of boring, and we went around the room with a broom handle and a scarf, like the old Elvis shows, and I just accidentally figured out that I could sound like him. And from there, went on to parties and weddings and openings of supermarkets and things of that nature, always for fun, but I always enjoy doing it.
Can you give us just an example of how you can sound like him?
Oh, well, bless my soul, what's wrong with me? I'm itching like a man on a fuzzy tree. My friends say I'm acting white as a bug. I'm in love. I'm all shut up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well done. Well done, Mr. Hill. All right, we got a
Thank you.
twofer out of you. We got smart legal analysis and we got an Elvis tune. Curtis Hill, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the program. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.